Hello and welcome back to my channel. A year ago, a little over a year ago, April 10th last year, I uploaded a video to my channel called I Bought a Plant Surprise Box. And I was already a little over a year into being into plants at the beginning of the pandemic, but I've learned so much more about plants and how to take care of them in the last year, and a lot of it has become really sort of, instinctual to me in that time, whereas back then when I bought the plant surprise box, I really had no idea what I was doing with a lot of plants. So I kind of thought it might be fun today to revisit that video from last year and checking all the plants, ones that may still be alive, ones that maybe did die, ones that maybe died intentionally on my behalf. We're just going to go through those plants, okay? So I have the video open on my laptop here, which I'm kind of surprised you can't see. Like, I really thought it would be in the shot, but that's okay. Also, don't mind my nails. I can't get the index finger off. God, my intros are so long. Oh, right, I had all those toys back there, and I had to get rid of, like, all of them to make room for my plants. I forgot those were back there. I really only kept, Gabrielle and Xena, and they're on top of my bookcase over here. And obviously, I still have the Mars pull-up doll. But that's about it. Okay, where do I get over to the actual plants? So the first plant I pulled out was the Rattlesnake Calathea, which I do still have. It's right up front here. I thought you'd be able to see it better, but you can't. So it's definitely fuller there than it is here. It put out a whole bunch of new growth last year, but I accidentally watered it one time with tap water that hadn't been sitting out for 24 hours, and it just really crisped up and really wrecked the leaves. So I'm hoping this year, as it starts to shoot out new growth, which I'm hoping it will start to do soon, those leaves will be nice and full and beautiful like these ones. But I do still have this plant. It is still alive. It doesn't look the best. I repotted it into a terracotta pot because I just wanted it in one of these. I was afraid I was going to overwater it in a plastic pot, which I don't think I have overwatered it. I think, if anything, I underwatered it. So, I'm glad that I still have this one. This was one of the plants that I really wanted when I did that surprise box order, and I'm definitely glad that I still have it. People always say Calathea are very hard to take care of. Those people are probably not chronic overwaterers like I am. Okay, the next plant I pull out is a crispy wavy fern. She died a long time ago. And I bought like two more after that, and they both died. I don't even really know. I'm going to assume because they're ferns, I didn't water them enough, and not that I underwatered them. So I'm going to assume I didn't water them enough. Maybe I put too much bright light on them because I did have them quite close to the plant lights. But yeah, that died a tragic death. I'm so sorry, and I'm giving up on crispy wavy plants. I love them. I think they're so cool, but I tried like 3 times. I give up now. Okay, the next plant I pulled out was the Monstera Adansonii, which I forgot to grab on my table here, but I do still have it. It's behind me. I'll insert a shot of it on the side here. It is not as big-leafed as it was when I first got it. I think that's because I have it in more of a highlight situation because it's right under the plant light. So a lot of the big leaves have fallen off, and it's not as bushy as it used to be, but it does still have a lot of leaves. It has a lot of stems. It's got a lot of tiny leaves, and it's growing a lot. So I still have that one. This is a Hoya Carnosa. Hoya Carnosa is the next one I pull out. I also still have that one. Now, I did like the most rookie thing on the planet, and it had all these beautiful shoots, and I cut them off for some reason. I have no idea what the logic there was, but I did cut them off, and you're not supposed to do that because that's where new leaves and stuff will grow. So they actually are kind of starting to come back now. Some of those stalks and some new leaves, and it's starting to get fuzzy, which means it's going to start to grow soon. And I'm really looking forward to this plant coming back and growing because it never did any growing last year. I don't know if that was because of my own situations or if it's because I hacked it. But I do still have that one, and it does not look as good as it did when I first got it, but it doesn't look awful. It just hasn't really done anything since I cut those stems off. So learn from my mistake. If you get one of those and it's got those big sticks, don't cut them off. Look at that! The next one I pull out is the one that you can see probably the best on camera. It's the Dracaena Twister. We figured it out eventually. So that's this one. It doesn't look as full anymore. A lot of the leaves sort of died off, and I think that is because I have underwatered it. I sort of hear, like this one. This is a crispy freaking leaf if I ever saw one. Look at this. A lot of the leaves have died off because I have been underwatering it, unfortunately. And that pot that it was in was really high up. and a lot of the leaves on the bottom died off, I think because the pot that it came in was so high up. So I potted it in this lower pot. I cut them all off. Now it's a little bit unstable, but that's okay. Aren't we all? And it's still alive. It's not as beautiful as it was then, but now I'm watering it a little more often. Not as often as I water the Rattlesnake Calathea, but I am watering it fairly often. And I think that was the problem, was that I wasn't watering enough. Okay, the next plant that I pull out, I think that's a Kalanchoe, but like a flowering one. That one did die. How do I phrase this? A little bit of negligence on my part and a little bit of intentional on my part. I don't love flowering plants. I just don't. The flowers on this Kalanchoe were cute, so I don't know that it's fair to say that I intentionally killed this plant. But I didn't take as good care of it as I could have, you know? Those big leaves that are on the sides of it fell off. Or I broke them off or something, like, right away. And they were just always in the way. I was always bumping things into them by accident, so they broke off eventually. And then I think I chronically underwatered this, too. I think I remember it being crispy and not doing well, so I apologize to this beautiful flowery Kalanchoe that I killed. Ugh! The next plant that I pull out is the Bromeliad, and that one died. And I don't know how it died, because everyone on Earth was like, don't water the Bromeliad too much. You will overwater it, and it will die. So I watered it hardly ever, and it, like, shriveled and got crispy. And then no matter what I did, I couldn't bring it back. And then some people on the internet were like, cut the flower off. So I cut the flower off, and then it was just even worse. So I think I underwatered this one. I know I've said I underwatered plants a lot. I think I was just being extra careful. Now it's a little more intuitive. But I really do think I underwatered the Bromeliad, and that's why it died. But that was a weird one. I wasn't ready for that one to die. The next plant I pulled out is the Fatsia, and that one is the one that hurts me the most, because I love that plant, and I took really good care of that plant. And I know I've told this story on my channel before, so if you watch my channel often, I apologize, but this one died a mysterious death, and I still don't know what happened. So basically, I was being so careful. I have a bajillion wooden chopsticks, right, because I order, like, sushi and that sort of thing all the time. So I was only watering it when the chopstick, I would stick it in the dirt and pull it out, and it would be completely clean. And it had, like, two big main stalks of branches and leaves, right? All of a sudden, one time, the one stalk started to die, and it started to, like, wilt. It was like it was rotting from the inside. Maybe it had root rot. It's possible. I never checked. But it was like, I don't know, it was honestly like it had an illness, because it was not edges of the leaves that got crispy. There was no sort of signs of pest. It was like something came up through the bottom, through the inside, and just started killing it. And I watched it, like, that one whole stalk, like, wither and die from the inside. So I cut it off. It hurt me, but I cut it off. And then what I did, that was a rookie mistake, was I cut it off too close to the bottom. And then I ended up watering the soil, I guess, a day or so later. And that nubbin, where I had cut it off, molded. And when I say molded, I mean big, white, fuzzy mold. And the other side ended up dying as well. So I don't know if it was that same sort of illness that killed both sides, or if the mold killed it. But that plant, that big, beautiful Fatsia, that was given to me in, like, a red solo cup, or yellow solo cup, I guess. Like, I loved that plant, and it was frustrating because I'm not really a marijuana person. If you like cannabis, whatever, go for it, do what you want. That's not me at all. And I really hate the smell of it, to be honest with you. But, it looks like a pot plant, so whenever it was in the background of a picture or something, I felt like I couldn't have it there because it looked like a pot plant, and that sort of gave a different impression of me than what I actually am. And so for that sake, it was kind of a frustrating plant, but it was beautiful and I loved it. And I would love to try a Fatsia again because I just think they're so great. Okay, so I didn't do a good job showing you, but there was also an orchid in this order, and I don't really care about orchids because, like I said, I don't really care about flowers. So I did just give it to my mom. We sat at the back porch. It was beautiful while it was alive. I'm pretty sure it never got watered a single time, and then it died. But it's an orchid. I'm not really a big orchid girl. What can I say? Yeah, it's back there. That's the only thing I don't like. It's spot. Hey, my Fatsia's on top of my sewing machine. Little did I know, a year later, my philodendron Brazil in this video a year ago looks like garbage. Now it's beautiful. I've taken cuttings from it 1,000 times and potted it and all that stuff. It's still funny to look at the year ago splay of my plants and how many of them have died, because the string of pearls have died as well. What else flowers down there? The string of pepperoni is down there. That Pepperomia did die. The Pepperomia ripple also died. The Pepperomia pixie died. The nerve plant died. I think there was also a Cyclamen in this box. I don't know that I showed it on camera for some reason, but I do recall there also being a little Cyclamen. And like I said, I don't like flowers typically, but I especially hate Cyclamen because, like, what's wrong with them? Why are they growing upside down? Why are the flowers upside down? I just think they're ugly. So that one may or may not have meant like an intentional, like third degree murder. That one's the intentional one, right? Like I sat it on the table and never touched it until it died and went, oh, it died, and then threw it out. I think I tried to pawn that one off with my mom too, but she didn't want it, so I'm so sorry that Cyclamen. So overall, I went into this thinking that I was going to be like, I killed all of them, but I have 4 big ones. You know, these 3, the Hoya, the Calathea, the Dracaena, and then the Monstera that I forgot to grab that are still alive. The Fatsia, like I said, met an unfortunate death that I still don't understand. The Orchid and the Cyclamen both met maybe a little bit more of an intentional death than some people might appreciate. I did kind of try to keep the Kalanchoe flower alive. It just didn't really work out in my favor. Yeah, that's all of them. I thought there was more than that, and I thought I had killed more than that. Like I said, I've learned a lot more in growing plants in the last year than I knew to begin with. I fertilize a little bit differently now. I keep them sort of organized where, like, in conjunction with where my plant light is a little bit differently. I have a little humidifier now that I keep for some of my more high humidity plants like my Maranta and my Pilea Moon Valley. And it's so interesting how different plants work, you know? And I just really enjoy keeping them and learning about them. And I just feel like there's so much knowledge to gain from taking care of plants. And I feel like no matter what I do, I'm always learning something new and I'm always learning something more. And I just realized that I set everything up so that you could see the croton in the back here, and I don't even think you can see it on camera. Oh well. But yeah, I've learned a lot in the last year. I learned more than I thought I did, if that makes sense. And I've just been really enjoying it, and I look forward to learning more about plants in the future. So if you have any recommendations for plants I should try, or plant products, or whatever, please let me know, because I'm really enjoying playing with plants. And I'm just really jazzed about the plant world these days, you know? I just bought a little cutting off Facebook Marketplace the other day. Like, we're good to go over here. I like plants, okay? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, and you subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you next time. Bye!